Welcome to today's lesson on articles. I want to go more into detail in this lesson and just examine 5 different examples of articles being used in very different ways, and I hope you can see this. And I also want to introduce something called the existential clause. We're going to be getting quite philosophical about articles, and you'll see if you look at the literature, Bertrand Russell, for example, did a long classic in this field on the and how we use the and a. He claims that we only use them descriptively, they do not refer to anything. Not sure I necessarily agree with that. In fact, I think I would disagree. But there's a lot of different philosophers who've been confusing us all, and linguists as well, claiming that these are used in different ways, and there hasn't been a satisfactory theory really about a and the, and I hope to show you that that's the case in the next few lessons. So let's look at some logical ways that the articles are used, and I think this is quite logical. Let's just classify a few different examples. So there was a tiger in the zoo. This is what we call, or what I called in lesson 3, a description as opposed to a definition. And I'd never heard at that point of existential clauses, but now that I have, I understand that this is exactly what I was talking about. After there are, or there was, or there were, or there will be, we don't really use the. Now there are some exceptions as always, but I'll do that in a future lesson. For the moment, just assume that it is impossible to use the after there are, and even some have sentences, not all, certainly not with have, but some have sentences. For example, I have a brother. You will never say I have the brother. It's clearly wrong, and it sounds wrong to any native, certainly immediately wrong. And the same with there was the concert yesterday. No, there was a concert yesterday. So these existential clauses are very important. You might be wondering why I haven't told you about this before. As I said, I kind of have. I mentioned it in lesson 3, but now I have a good name for it, so we can go into it in more detail. And we can also explore the definiteness effect, which is something quite interesting. But let's just come back to our examples. There was a tiger in the zoo. We must say a tiger, but we are referring here, in my opinion, to one concrete individual. And so you might say, well, why not the tiger in this situation? The only answer I can give you is that this is an existential clause. Okay, if I speak about something, if I define it, if I start, instead of a there was clause, I say the tiger in the zoo was very frightening, then I must use the. I can't say a tiger in the zoo. Well, I could say a tiger in the zoo was very frightening, meaning one of many. And that's the difference there between a and the. That's the quantifying part of a and the. And this is what Bertrand Russell was speaking about, that a and the are just quantifiers, basically. And the means the one and only one, which I saw yesterday. And a tiger means one of many, which I saw yesterday. So there's 2 possibilities there, and let's just remind you that that is possible as well. A tiger in the zoo was very frightening, meaning one of many. Maybe I saw 10, and only one of them was frightening. All the others were quite cuddly and nice and friendly, and so this just means one of many. I saw many, and only one of many was very frightening. Okay, now let's look at 2 slightly different examples. Tigers are very dangerous. Now here, I mean all individuals. When I use a plural form of a countable noun, tigers, trains, Englishmen, mobile phones, then I mean all individuals. And the same applies here for all these other countable nouns. And so I think this is very, very different from either of the uses here, where I was referring to one individual, I was referring to one individual which is defined, and I was referring to one of many. Okay, so I think here I'm referring, really, here I'm talking about all individuals. All tigers in the whole world are dangerous. It's generic. Okay, now if I put a the and make it singular again, I can come up with a very similar sentence in meaning, but it is slightly different. The tiger is very dangerous. Now here you've probably learned that here we're talking about the species, the tiger. We're not talking about the elephant or the giraffe, but whenever we put a the before a type, and it could be the train, the English, the mobile phone, then I'm talking about that group, that species, that mode of transport, that nationality, or that invention. Yeah? And so as soon as I put the, I could be speaking about a species, a mode, or a type. And that's another way we use the, which isn't referring to one individual or to one individual of many, or to one individual which you saw yesterday at the zoo. It's something a little bit different. It's a species, mode, or type. Okay, the last example, the tigers that I saw at the zoo were very frightening, is another example of referring, in my opinion. This is clearly referring to the ones which you saw at the zoo, and you really must say the, because you're using a vital modifier here. This is a vital modifying clause, so it's telling you which one, and so it must be definite. It suddenly becomes very definite with that vital modifier. And so here we've got the in the plural, and I just wanted to show an example of the in the plural because it is possible. People sometimes think it's not possible, I don't know why, but it is possible, especially if you're referring to a group of tigers, yeah, and you're referring to, obviously here it would be all of them. The tigers that I saw in the zoo were very frightening, and a tiger in the zoo was very frightening would just be one of many. Okay, I'll talk more about the existential clause and definiteness effect in the next lesson, so please keep watching these lessons if you find this interesting. I hope to unravel some of the mysteries of articles because they are difficult. Don't listen to anyone who tells you that they're easy. They confuse me all the time. And yeah, we'll go into more detail and hopefully unravel some of these mysteries. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all soon.